Wagwan! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been long and Kenyan Beast is here again. We are doing it the African way, okay? Well, business of today, I'm going to talk about what John Mbadi, the Minister of CS of what? Finance.
Treasury,
Treasury and Finance. What is trying to, or what he said when he was during the tax payday or tax day. There's a statement he made, and let's watch this video first and then we go talk about it.
You're right that I was embarrassed at Washington, not that we were treated badly, Your Excellency. I wanted just to clarify. But you see, when you find African countries queuing in corridor, then you are called one by one. Nigeria, you come, 15, 30 minutes. Rwanda, Kenya, for those of us who have some pride, it's a bit demeaning. And you see the money that we are asking for out there, Your Excellency, if we just tighten our system, we can do without some of these monies. We can do. Because today, IMF has released 78 billion shillings. But if KRA puts systems in place, we can collect not less than 400 billion shillings. So we can do without some of these loans.
Now, welcome back.
Yeah.
This video of John Mbadi saying how they were embarrassed at the IMF in Washington, D.C., where they were going to borrow money, begging for money.
They were being called one by one.
One by one. Hey, Togo.
Like a school register.
and you are standing at a corridor waiting for your
for your country to be called.
Yeah, you are holding papers in your hand. So CS Mbadi is
like
there.
A head teacher summoning the children.
Yes, the school children. Like you are CS. You are all the way from Africa. All countries from Africa are there in
a whole cabinet secretary.
Yeah, there in Washington D.C. at IMF headquarters, holding the files here, standing in corridor, waiting for your name. Mali. And then you are given 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to beg, to present what you have, to say, I need this money because we are suffering as Kenya. Oh, Ghana is going through a lot.
That's
Please, I need money.
Yeah.
And then you are being told, okay, go and wait for our confirmation.
Yeah.
Uganda.
Let us assess your documents and see if you're qualified to be given money. Seriously.
And that's why Uganda, you cannot find them on this, because that man of Uganda,
that
Museveni, is very, has, we call pride.
Yeah.
Like he can't.
Not even pride. He knows his potentials. He's not a kind of a person who would go somewhere and stand for, like, he's, sometimes I think, even if people say that Museveni is a dictator or something, sometimes I think that man cannot just be handled the way you think. Like, that man is a man of principles and stand. Like, he's a man of his own rules. Okay? Yeah. And there are things he cannot do. So even if sometimes we say that man's a dictator, I think he's just a man who respects himself, and there are things he can't do.
So, Kenyan CS or Kenya CS of Finance he has complained how they were being embarrassed at Washington during IMF when they were going to beg money. And he said that these things, we can do it by ourselves. Yes. Africa, we can collect this money through tax, through what we are capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And they were given some billions there, I think. And but this guy said something that a lot of African countries or leaders need to check on it.
Yeah, sure.
We can come up with this money by our own instead of going there to beg money, IMF money. And once you are given that IMF money, it's done.
Yeah.
You are being chained somewhere because you cannot control what you are trying to do. They are giving you money and telling you, go and do this with this and this and this.
Yeah.
Again, you are borrowing the money, and the money yet is being stealed here by our leaders.
Yeah.
It's being porwa.
Yeah.
You know? So, as you are watching this video and you have heard what these CS have said, what do you think about it? What do you think about seeing your leaders, African leaders, all continent of African leaders lining somewhere in a corridor waiting to beg money for IMF, what comes in your mind as an African? What comes in your mind as a person who you know your country is eligible, your country is capable of getting able, it's able of getting out of
you have
these
the potentials, but you're going somewhere so that you can to beg, so you can be given money, a certain amount of money.
What comes in your mind when they are saying that we are begging money as an African?
Yeah.
They are calling us beggars left, right, center. I've seen videos. Do you think we are beggars? And what do you think needs to be done? Because this year said that this is possible. We can collect this money by ourselves if good measures are being kept.
Yeah.
And we cannot go and borrow money. Do you think it's possible for African countries to get access of these funds by their own, or we have to beg? Tanzania, Senegal, what do you think? What picture does it tell us?
It's a very bad picture. Actually, it's a very bad picture because that tells us we are still being handled. We are still being asked what to do. We are still actually begging these countries. That tells us we are still far away from being where we are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you know, when the IMF is giving money to these countries, you know, IMF has gotten to a point that it knows that without them we cannot do. Without them we cannot work. Without them we can't do anything. And so they are having that pride. Okay.
First of all, even it's not that they have known without them that we cannot do. They have already put us in a cage where they know we cannot remove ourselves. So they control.
And we can't do without them. So they know in one way or the other, at one point or another, we shall go to them for that money. That is one thing they know. Okay? It doesn't matter how long is it gonna take, but they have placed us in a position or in a let me say in a grace where they know to some point it's going to get to some point where we will have to go to IMF to borrow money. Okay? And that is one thing they have they're sure about. So they're just relaxing. And that is why you would see when we go there, or when these cabinets, the CS went there, you see
no respect.
Yeah, you see they are being handled anyhow, because at the end of the day, IMF know these people, they will come because they need this money to survive. They need this money, okay, to actually to run their countries. Are you getting my point? And CS Mbadi, that was, I believe, let me say, that was super of CS Mbadi. I think that was a great mind out of him. I don't think if it's possible, maybe any other cabinet secretary from any other country was able to realize that and go to their country and speak that out. Okay? That was a little bit clever of CS Mbadi.
Yeah.
But now, let us come back to our countries. We're talking about going there and being summoned like kids so that you can be given money. And yet we are again saying in our countries, we are able to actually raise that amount of money. If we tighten our ropes, like if we tighten ourselves very well, we can be able to collect that amount of money. This is what CS Mbadi said. CS Mbadi said that he was embarrassed when they were being summoned like kids, being called one by one. It's like a teacher calling register. Or maybe it's like a headmaster actually calling, maybe a parent calling the kids one by one and summoning them. Okay? And he said that if, like a country like Kenya, he used the example of Kenya, if we are able to be very serious and tight ourselves very well, we can be able to collect 400 billion shillings. Okay?
Yeah.
Every financial year, we will be able to collect 400 billion shillings. Every financial year, compared to the amount they went to borrow 78 billion 78 billion shillings. Okay, so 78 billion shillings is the money that they went there being called like kids to be given that money, or being embarrassed, being handled anyhow for 78 billion.
And even
shillings.
how we're gonna pay this 78, they will exploit us more.
And so
more and
he
more
said
billions.
We can collect more than 78 billion shillings. Said we can collect 400 billion shillings if we just be serious. Okay? That is what he said. Now, can we check on the people of the country, on the citizen of the country, or the certain country? Okay? So how are they going to make sure the 400 billion shillings is going to be collected? We have two ways here. Number one, it is either they are going to use a way that the citizens of a certain country are not going to complain because of high tax.
But number one,
yeah,
on your list, start with this. Number one, we reduce corruption first.
Exactly.
Because that's where all of money goes.
Even if we are able to collect the 400 billion shillings, okay, let me say this. The citizens of a certain country are not supposed to complain because of the taxes that are being, because you're not supposed to call, you want to help people.
Sometimes we say it's not even helping. Sometimes we say, if you are paying taxes, and you see your money is being, roads are there, good roads, health, good, but
we don't, exactly.
How are you gonna pay this tax, and when you go to the hospital, there's no medicine?
So you see,
there's no doctors are striking.
Sometimes I would come to you, I want you to give me 100 shillings, okay? In the 100 shillings I want you to give me, you're supposed to be giving me 100 shillings every month, and that month you are earning 120 shillings or 150 shillings, okay? So you see, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
Because I remain with nothing. Okay?
Is when even
if it's about development and infrastructure and all those things, it's not helping me. Because I shouldn't suffer simply because you want to develop a certain country. Or maybe to develop to bring development, to bring infrastructure. I shouldn't suffer because you want to bring infrastructure, because you want to bring development in my country. Okay? You need to collect the amount. It's better you ask me for that 20 shillings out of 150, or maybe that 50 shillings out of 100 shillings, so that I remain with more than what you're collecting from me.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be collecting from me more than what I'm earning. Okay? Or you collect from me more and leave me with less from what I'm earning. Okay? So, yes, John Mbadi says we are able to collect 400 billion shillings. But how, which chains are we going to use? Or which ways are we going to use to collect these 400 billion shillings?
He said,
that is number one.
If we put good measures that won't suffocate the citizens.
Exactly.
And even he was talking about reducing percentage of taxes from 16 to 14.
Yeah.
He knows very well.
Yeah.
He knows that when we collect 14% from each individual, we can get the money.
Okay.
But he knows too, we are collecting those 14%, but 10% are going in pockets of the people. And that's why he said, if we put good measures. And these good measures is by reducing
tax.
Corruption,
exactly.
Because we are getting that 14%, but it's not coming all of them. That 4% is only 4% that's going to help people.
And that is where the problem is.
Yeah, that's where
corruption. We as Africans, or as Africa in particular, let me tell you something. We are able to do great things. We are able actually to manage ourselves in a greater way, in a bigger way. Okay? We can develop our countries by ourselves. We can have infrastructure in our countries by ourselves. We can have good roads. We can have good hospitals. We can have companies in our country. We can have factories.
We can be respected by the other countries.
There is nothing that we cannot have in our countries. Okay? But corruption is eating us a lot. It is taking a bigger portion. Okay?
Yeah.
The money that is going into the pockets of the people, of the leaders, of the politicians, is more compared to the money that is being left on the ground to work on the roads, to work on good hospitals, to work on all these things.
Let me tell you something.
Okay?
Let me tell you something.
And that is why we have to go to the IMF to beg. Now we as citizens accept that you and me understand this. We have other citizens in this country who does not understand what you're saying.
And that's why
who does not understand what you understand about the government.
That's why we need to educate ourselves.
Okay? And that is why we are here.
And that's why we are telling the youths to educate themselves.
That person who cannot understand, or maybe who doesn't have the knowledge to understand what you know about our government or what you know about Africa, when they are told we are going to the IMF to borrow money, they just, or maybe, they will be convinced. They have been told, that the country does not have money, so we have to go there and borrow money. They accept and they believe because they don't know if it is true the country doesn't have money or the country has money.
Yeah.
Because they don't have this knowledge that you have, okay?
Yeah.
And so, when they are told we are going to the IMF to borrow money, it is just well with them. They don't know that we are able to get this money, but because of corruption, we are not getting the money.
I was thinking, how I wish when this CSS was going there and lying in a corridor to borrow money, how I wish this could be just our presidents. William Ruto is there.
Yeah.
Kagame is there. Samia Suluhu is there.
And then we take that picture.
And we take that picture.
We portray somewhere.
Like you remember the picture where it was being the picture that emerged when the presidents of Africa were in the same bus going to a funeral of Queen. I wish I could get this picture and show your children how you are embarrassing yourself because you want to be a puppet to someone.
A president of a whole country. You know,
you are embarrassing yourself at a corridor with papers here going to tell the Muzungu that we need this money because we can give you this gold, we can give you this land, you can own this and this. I am your guy. Give me this money.
And
it's embarrassing.
It's like you're bowing to a president. A country like Kenya. What's the difference between a country like Kenya and the United States?
Yeah.
They are all countries. So I don't know why should we, like, why can't you make your country look like the United States? You'll be respected. Why can't you make other people look for you or maybe come for you for help?
Do you remember a city called Timbuktu?
Yeah.
That city was built by gold.
Was it in Ethiopia?
In Mali.
In Mali, yeah.
Was built by gold.
Yes.
And the king of that time is still the richest.
Yeah.
He built this city with gold. Mm-hmm. There's some countries in USA, in Europe, it's being built with valuable things.
Yeah.
And these things are coming from Africa.
Yeah.
So if this king was able to build a city with gold, because the gold is from Mali, why can't we do that? Like build Niger, build Ghana, because we got that resources.
Yeah.
But we are giving out these resources. It's going to build the countries. They are going to build their countries with the gold.
Yeah.
And they are giving us peanuts. They are giving us timber.
Yeah.
So we are building our houses with mud and timber. Yeah. And yet we have given out the gold that we are supposed to build with it.
Yeah.
It's not bad to do business with these countries.
Yes, exactly.
It's like you going to the cereal store. You give out money, they give you cereal.
Exactly.
That's how it's supposed to be. And that's why a lot of leaders like Pierre Lumumba saying that, or it's not a lot of them, but it is evident that our relationship with France, our relationship with the USA, our relationship with the Europe countries is not equal. Others are benefiting more than the others.
It's not even about...
There's no equality. And that's why people are saying that BRICS is better.
Yeah.
Because they are calling for good share, like percentage, good percentage. China is there, willing to help Africa. Russia is there, willing to help Africa. And that's why a lot of people are seeing that BRICS is better than United Nations.
Yeah.
But all in all, this is an embarrassment.
A very big one. A very big embarrassment.
A continent, not even to a country. And only bold people can come and say this out. Only Mbadi has the guts to come and say that, this was happening. And I was embarrassed because, and it's something that we can do by ourselves.
Yes.
Why do you think we can't do it by ourselves? Tell me in the comment section. Why do you think that we can't collect this money by ourselves and build our country by ourselves? And yet, we are imposing citizens on high taxes on which we don't see how the money is being used. We don't see how... I have seen documentaries of African countries where we have bad roads, very, very bad roads. I've seen a documentary of Sudan where a person earning less than $100 per month.
Okay.
And Sudan is a country where there's a lot of oil.
Yeah.
But these Europe countries have kept that countries in a lot of chaos where they cannot remove themselves. And we have leaders there. We have military there.
We don't have leaders in Africa.
Yeah.
That is the biggest problem we have. In Africa, we don't have leaders. In Africa, we have people who are fighting for their own benefits.
Yeah.
And those leaders are the one who has actually placed us in a position that we are today.
Yeah.
We would have leaders who who would have the interest of the nations, we would not be where we are today. Africa would be somewhere else. But we are not where we are supposed to be because we have leaders who are only fighting or who are only struggling to get on the throne because of their own personal interests. Not power. Because of people. No, we have leaders who are leaders for people. But we have leaders who are leaders for themselves. They are calling themselves leaders, but the leadership, they're not portraying the leadership we want to see. Okay? That is why we are in a position that we are today. Okay? And that is the biggest problem we have. If one day we would come to have good leaders who would having people's interests, the interest of the people, we will reach a place where we never expected we can ever be. Because we are rich, Africa is rich, and the Western countries are enriching themselves from Africa. And why are they enriching themselves from Africa? They're enriching themselves from the things they're extracting from Africa because they've been given an opportunity to do that. They've been given a way to do that. They've been given, the roads have been open for them to come from the Western countries here to all the way here to Africa to come and extract and enrich themselves. And you know, they're being allowed to do that because the people that they're coming through them, they are actually giving them. Have you seen a white man in Uganda? They can be there.
Yeah.
But have you seen a president of Uganda being driven
or
anyhow?
Surrounding himself with a lot of
or maybe
people.
being driven anyhow?
No.
That man doesn't. He's the only president I've seen who does not entertain nonsense. Okay? He knows he is in Uganda and Uganda is his country. Okay? I believe if Uganda would be a country like Congo, Uganda would be very far right now.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is why Ibrahim Traore has come on the picture now. And in a very short time period, you're going to see Burkina Faso very far.
Thriving.
If Traore will continue reigning in Burkina Faso, because we know maybe sometimes he may not even reign. So we need to take caution and stop going for money to the IMF because we are able to produce this money more than we are actually asking from the IMF.
Yeah.
We have the potentials, we have the opportunity, we have the capabilities to be able to produce this money in a bigger way than we are more than even what we are borrowing from the IMF.
Sure.
Because if we will continue going to the IMF and being someone like kids, and yet the CS said we are able to produce this money if we implement right measures. That means if we bring down the level of corruption. That means if we be faithful, if we decide to work for the country, we are able to produce this money. Okay?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we are not going to do that, if we are not going to implement those measures, we are going to continue being someone like kids.
Yeah.
And that is very embarrassing. You see how embarrassing that was.
It's very embarrassing.
And it is very embarrassing.
Yo, tell me what you think on the comment section, because you see how Ghana is falling because of IMF. You see how Nigeria is failing because of IMF. You see how Kenya is going down because of IMF money, or World Bank money, the money of the loans money we are being given, and we are being controlled. We are being embarrassed left, right, center. Tell me what you think on the comment section about this video. Until next episode, peace be with you.